Welcome to the Minds on a Mission podcast, the podcast where we explore the journeys that challenge us, change us, and chart the best course for our best selves. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Podbean, Buzzsprout, and now we're distributed to Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Deezer. I'm your host, Samantha Bailey, an entrepreneur and content creator. And today's amazing guest is Hayden Deveaux.
What is going on?
How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. A bit of a slow day, but always progressing no matter what.
That's awesome. Um, First off, I wanted to thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And I wanted to ask for our viewers who may not know you, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot to say. I guess I've gone through a lot in my life. Been through a lot, done a lot. Kind of started off, I guess, my career as a social media influencer. Started that in high school. Started a YouTube channel. Built up a channel to 180,000 plus subscribers, which is like a reaction channel. Not doing that any longer, but basically started as a social media influencer, transitioned into an entrepreneur, and have been an entrepreneur since. Pretty much for the past 8 to I think 9 years, about now, if not over 9 years now. So I've been kind of doing it all, but now honing in and doing kind of one thing and focusing on one specific thing. So that's where we're at now.
That is awesome. That's like a lot. Yeah, a lot of transitioning, and that's really cool with your reaction channel. I didn't know that. Um, so my first question I wanted to ask was, as a father, entrepreneur, and investor, how do you balance your time between your personal life and multiple professional roles?
It's a good question. Of course, there's always a good question and always good conversations around work-life balance. And honestly, I think when it comes down to it, it's really getting to love what you're working on, like becoming passionate on what you're working on, and if you can get to that stage, it just doesn't really feel like work. um and it's just always kind of fun and whatnot. And I feel like when you are in a high energy from what you do, you can take that into other things that might be a low energy, and you can do it at a higher energy. So like for me, right, like I have my daughter only like 20 to 23% of the year right now. The rest of the time she's with her mom and whatnot. So the times that I don't have her is like my times to hustle. And I'm like, right when I wake up to when I go to bed, it's pretty much like I'm on my hustle, I'm on my grind, I'm working. But it's fun for me because I'm doing what I'm passionate on, right? So it doesn't even really feel like work, but I am getting the work done and the actions, taking the actions to get ahead with everything. When I have my daughter, it's just pure dad mode, father mode. Of course, I'm on my phone a little bit. I got to respond to messages and whatnot. But for the most part, it's spending most of my time trying to at least with her, and because she needs that time with her dad. And yeah, it's pretty much how I balance it there. I know not every parent has that kind of balance. They got to have their kids and whatnot. But honestly, if you're, besides work, if a parent is building like a business, there is, of course, sacrifices that need to be made time wise, regarding that and whatnot. And everyone is going to be different with that, of how they sacrifice their time and whatnot. But you just kind of have to find what works for you, and everyone's different for that.
Right. I like that. I like that you're able to have that time where you can just be solely focused on your daughter, and then also having that time where you can just solely focus on your work, and it works out. I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
Um, my next question was, what inspired you to pursue entrepreneurship, and how has your purpose of growth and prosperity shaped your business decisions?
That's a good one. Um, I think just kind of entrepreneurship wise, I think I just never really liked working for somebody else. I didn't like having, that control kind of stripped away from me. And I wanted to just create a life of my own, like be able to do whatever I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it. And I kind of, drove me to the entrepreneurship route. Of course, kind of, being a social media influencer, you're kind of an entrepreneur as well, right? You're posting videos and whatnot. You're getting paid from YouTube ad revenue and whatnot, brand deals and whatnot. So you're kind of like your own little entrepreneur, even if you don't know it yet, as a social media influencer. So I guess I kind of got started in the game then, and just kind of continued, but went a different route than it's purely just social media, right? Um, and yeah, it was that plus just tried the school route, tried going to college, did a graphic design, like design foundations kind of course. Ended up dropping out in like the first the first term, and I was like, nah, this is not for me. I wanted to create a life that I would enjoy, and that wasn't something that I enjoyed. So I just kind of knew that I needed to do something for myself, and not necessarily work under somebody else.
Right. Yeah, I relate to that. Um, and gosh, I had a thought and then it left me. But I think that yeah, a lot of people would have that in common of like not wanting to work for someone else, and it's really cool to see like how far it drives people, and the want for more and having bigger life. I think it's definitely tough. It's not for everyone, but like from what you've saying, like it seems like you've come really far. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
I really wish I remembered the other thing I had to say, but
It will come back.
yes. I like have so many sub thoughts when I'm like listening and I'm like, oh, and then they leave me. But yeah, I'll move on to the next question. If it comes back to me, I'll let you know. But um the next question I had was, what challenges did you face when you first started your journey as an entrepreneur and investor?
Ooh, um, honestly, I think like I'm just kind of like I said, my journey's been like 8 to 9 years, and I'm only like just kind of getting the results now, kind of thing, when it comes to entrepreneurship. Investing was actually faster. I learned that faster, but that's because I was just like, with the stock market, I was just in the stock market. I was investing. I was actively taking action. And in my entrepreneurship journey, honestly, it was like almost 8 years of just mindset work, like just feeding all this information into my brain, but not actually like implementing and taking action on what I learned. And that's what I've actually recently started doing, and I've been seeing the results since starting that. So I think just that the overall challenge was just actually starting and taking action and implementing things. Because once you do that, it's you ultimately are gonna run into problems along the way, but then you can be like, hey, like let's look into the solution for this, let's fix it up, and then move along to the next problem. Essentially, it's just problem solving, problem solving, problem solving. Don't be afraid to solve problems.
I love that. And that's very true. And just like pushing through like you're because something I was like talking about recently was it was like similar to that, but just about um like how it's like normal as a human being to want to stay where you're comfortable, and that's like your mind and your body like trying to protect you. And so it's just like finding ways to continually push through that is like the most beneficial thing for your growth. And that's something I've like really had to learn because I've always there's so many things that I've always been like, oh, I'm just too scared to do that, and then I don't know, this last year I've just been like, just do it anyways. So
Absolutely.
I relate to that. And the other thing I thought about was I related to what you said about college. I signed up for college because with my class you get like the free school community college because of COVID. Um, but I was the same way. I was like, all the stuff that I am gonna learn there, I could learn so much quicker by myself. So it's like I relate to that.
Yeah, like yeah, with that, there's so much information to soak in and take in online, and a lot of that information is there for free. So you just really have to look in the right places, just for the right keyword searches, and you should be able to find the information that you need to find to then implement and take action on and build what you want to build in life too. And Samantha, there, what you said with like the comfort zone and whatnot, right? You do not grow within your comfort zone. You need to step out of that, and that's where you're actually going to grow in life and make that new place your new comfort zone. But then get out of that right away, and you just keep going. It's just a loop of that as well.
Yeah. Continually. That's what I said. Continually pushing through that is like a big thing, because there's always going to be something new that you don't know. So it's just like finding ways to push through it. I really like that.
Absolutely.
Um, got a whole list. That's why I'm like, wait, what? um, so my next question is, how do you define prosperity, and what key practices have helped you achieve it in both your personal and professional life?
That's of course, that's like my purpose is growth and prosperity, and for me, prosperity is it's definitely different for everybody. I feel like prosperity is essentially just success, and success is going to look different to everyone. I believe, in my own opinion, success is honestly just contentment. It's not really a money thing. It's not really a location thing. It's not really. I mean, it may probably location as well. Like just being in the right just place. Like you wake up every day and you're like, I'm content. Like at the end of the day, you're like, I'm content. I like this. You're happy waking up. You're happy going to bed. That's pure prosperity in my mind. But for a lot of people, it does come around to money, because with money, you're able to utilize it as a tool to unlock a life that you never thought you could ever get to, and whatnot. Like, you can move to wherever you want to. You can, do more things that you want to. Just unlock that freedom, using money as a tool, and to live the life that you truly desire and truly need.
Yeah, I I like the way that you define prosperity, and I I think that's something that's like kind of hard for people to have, you know, especially too a lot of the times it's like another thing that I don't know. Me and like I have these random conversations with my fiance, like stuff like this where we just talk about that. But it was similar to this. We were talking about that, and I was saying like um we were talking about whether or not all the money in the world could like solve our problems, and it was like it would help for sure, but it's like the money, like you said, is a tool, but the biggest thing is like you and your inner peace in yourself. And if you're not happy with yourself, like money can only do so much. So it's like finding a way to have a balance of like utilizing what resources you have, and also like being able to find ways to have that inner peace, like I said.
Absolutely, yeah. Like money, they say money can't buy happiness, but it can buy you things that are gonna make you happy. Sometimes those things are short term happiness, but like pure
Right.
happiness is the only thing that you can access internally. So it is like a lot of like internal work that people have to do sometimes, based on how they lived, how they grew up, and whatnot. There's a lot of past, let's say, trauma blocks and whatnot that people need to work on and whatnot, and sometimes they can't navigate that themselves. They need that person in their life to help not to help unlock that and navigate them, and get over that stuff. So once a human being is able to get over all that nasty negative inner blocks and and whatnot, they can truly just get to this point of life spiritually that, like, they're just on top of the world. So it's the greatest feeling ever.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, money definitely can help in ways of having more resources. I know some people like don't have money for therapy or things like that. So like definitely helpful, but I've noticed too it's like every time I've like pushed myself and worked on myself, like more opportunities just came my way. Like I kept being like, oh, why isn't anything happening? Like I'm doing this work and it's not, you know what I mean? And then when I finally was like, wow, like I feel happy and like really realizing like I have a lot more than I think, then like more things started happening. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Once you start living life in like alignment of where you are actually wanting to get to in life, there's just this energy within you just grows, and with that confidence grows, and with your confidence you go out there and you walk it. You know, your aura, they say nowadays, your aura grows and people see that, and there's just, I don't necessarily say that like, the universe, kind of, all this stuff with the universe and whatnot, but manifestation kind of stuff. It's not really a part of my like human design and whatnot, but the great things happen, when you're, living in alignment of where you're wanting to go in life. There's just opportunities that come your way that you're like, where did this even come from? It's just this crazy kind of energy field that like I still haven't really like understood, but it's just there, and sometimes just happens out of the blue, and you're like, whoa, like where did this come from? And it's just this crazy feeling, but it's an amazing feeling at that.
Right. And like with what you said, I think manifestation's like tricky because there's so many different things that you can do. Like there's so much to it. But I think like the thing you're saying with like the energy is a part of it, because it's um like I don't know if you know like Bob Proctor, but he like talks about stuff like that, the law of attractions. So it's like it definitely is a part of it, but I just think some people just prefer to like write it out, or you know what I mean. But yeah, I definitely agree with like the energy you're in is like the energy that you attract. So it's sometimes it's hard to like get to that energy, but for anyone who is like, oh, you know what I mean, like maybe where I was, where like feeling like, I really really want to see a difference in my life, but I'm just kind of having a hard time, like just keep working through it. It will happen, but it doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of inner work that happens to be able to have that inner peace within yourself, to be able to attract that energy. So just keep going. It doesn't matter if it's 5 years from now or 6 months, like it will happen. But
Absolutely.
yes. My next question is, let me go back to my list. As an investor, what are some key strategies or mindsets that have contributed to your success?
Yeah, so I mean, investing wise, like stock market, I said I was investing in before. That I actually haven't invested in probably like a year and whatnot. But definitely want to get back into it. Just kind of took a halt on it, but I think just kind of growing stuff and everything. It's just really going in and looking what you're actually investing in. I feel like a lot of people kind of go into investing, especially crypto, and they just kind of invest into things that they're like, they see a little growth and they're like, let's do that one. But you have to like really understand what you're investing into and whatnot. And I got a lot of my information honestly just from following people that invest, in the stock market, just on Twitter and YouTube videos and whatnot. So I just kind of learned from them. I'm like, I'll let them do the research, and then I'll just get like the summary of the research from them, and then I'll just invest into that and see where things go, kind of, right? So for me, it was just kind of a trial and error with things. I'm like, okay, this one's working, we'll keep this one. This one's not, we'll sell that one, we'll buy something else. But my goal with investing, of course, is long term, and that's what you have to be in the stock market really to start seeing some results. Unless you really want to go into day trading, but that's a gamble for sure, and whole different investing strategy with that. But long term investing, dividend investing is what I focused on for my investments. And then now I'm investing my money into my business. I'm investing my money into some other ventures and whatnot, and all that is to come, and probably post about some of those down the road here. So yeah.
That's awesome. I guess too, I could technically count myself as an investor, but I just have never thought about it. But like, yeah, similar to you, like, I kind of and it's been within like the last 6 months or so, just kind of getting into it. And like you said, playing around with it, like tracking, because I like there's like different ones. I have money into different stocks and different apps like Coinbase, Robinhood, Acorns. But yeah, I'm not, like you said, I'm not like as active in it, but I have like here and there, like I'll put a little money into it and I'll like track like where it's going. But I mainly just invest in stuff like Meta and Amazon, things that like have projected growth, that's gonna do well. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I feel like investing can be tricky. There can be a lot to it, especially like with the stock market, like really understanding it, what to look for. I would say I know the basics. I'm not an expert in any means, but
Yeah, definitely the basics. It's been a while since I invested, but I think for me, I was just focusing on like getting my average cost as low as possible. So if a stock went lower in price, I was buying it up to reduce that average cost of purchase, and that was just kind of a game I played for myself. I just honestly, I think with like everything that I do, I just play it as a game. It's not like I don't keep it serious. I'm just like I play it as a game, but I want to win that game. So it is kind of serious at the same point, but it's like it's fun along the way.
right. I feel like that's the only way to do it though, because it's like if you don't make it interesting, then it just kind of is like, eh.
Yeah.
So, um, my next question is, okay, they were more investing ones because I made questions based off like what you provided me for the information, but um, what you're saying like you don't really do it as much, so I don't know if I will go as much into that.
Fair.
Um, my next question is how has being a father influenced your approach to entrepreneurship?
Oh, that's a good one. It's like, as when you become a parent, it's like everything is just, now, things are beforehand might have just been like for you or like you and your, partner or whatever that you are with and having the kid with and whatnot. But then afterwards, it's just like, it's mostly just about the kid and not necessarily about you anymore. But I feel like that's what happens with, I guess, a lot of parents and whatnot. And that can leave you so distraught. It's like, oh, it's just about the kid and not about me anymore. Like, especially as a dad, you're just like, you have to be that man of the household. You have to have the strength. You have to so much that I think guys, dads have to put ourselves through and whatnot. And it's like we're not really ourselves anymore. We're just a dad in a lot of scenarios and a lot of households and whatnot. But it's like you are your own individual person. This goes for every parent as well. Like you are your own individual person. You have to make sure you're okay and the best that you can be yourself so that you can be the best parent and whatnot. And that also carries through into your business, into your entrepreneurial ventures, projects, whatever you're working on, career wise as well. If you're working a job, and you just make sure that you're good, honestly. So I think it's I became a dad at a very young age. And so, like, responsibilities are just, I had none before. And then all of a sudden, I had responsibilities, right, as a father. And it's like, I had to grow up really, really quick. And I think that's honestly what, being a parent kind of brings is just these responsibilities that just kind of weren't there before. Then all of a sudden they are. And, like you kind of take that to, the projects and whatnot you're working on in life as well. Just making sure that everything is going good.
Right. And that I find too that when you have more responsibilities, like it can be stressful, but it's like you said, like a great motivator. Um, and I think it's awesome that you're able to do all this and still spend time with your daughter and to make sure that you're really focusing on yourself so that you can really provide in all aspects of your life. So I think that is very inspirational. A lot of people need to hear that because sometimes it like can be overwhelming, and especially thinking of like, oh, like I have all these things to do and I have all these people that like rely on me, and sometimes it can get like really overwhelming. Um, but I think that it can be really helpful as well because like you said, like it's a great motivator, and it's a good way to understand relationships and like be able to stay on top of things, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
My next question. Well, so okay, it was worded a little weirdly. Sorry. What values are you teaching your daughter about growth, prosperity, and financial literacy, or if anything? Like, are you? That was a little. I'm like, obviously, probably not all of that, but
Yeah. I mean, she's 5 right now, turning
okay.
6 in
Okay.
November. So it's honestly just kind of kid stuff right now. I'm not, nothing really in the means of that, but definitely, trying to raise her into the best, kindest little girl that that girl that I can raise her in and whatnot. Of course, it's how her mom raises her on her side, and then my side, and co-parenting can be very hard in a lot of scenarios, and it's tough, that way for sure. But just trying to make sure that she understands that uh, of course you got to work in life. You don't, nothing comes easy and whatnot. I'm trying to instill some some real life stuff along the way, because yeah, she kind of gets a lot of things at my house that she might not get, elsewise and whatnot and whatnot. Like I want to give her the best life, right? So she gets a lot of things and she always wants things, new toys and whatnot. I'm like, hey, like you can't get everything, darling, and that's just something that she always likes and likes to get. She likes surprises, gifts and whatnot, and she always wants them. So in my mind, it's just like, hey, like you gotta, not do as much and whatnot, because then it's not really gonna teach her anything. Later on in life, she's just gonna expect things to come to her, and I don't want her to have that kind of mindset. I want her to have the mindset that, hey, you have to, go out and make stuff happen for yourself rather than just waiting for stuff to come to you because it's just being handed to you. Um, so just trying to teach her some, actual real life stuff, rather than, oh, it's gonna be easy because like I'm always gonna be providing. Like I will provide for her as long as I can, of course, right? As long as I'm on this planet, I'm providing for her. But there's gonna come the time where she grows as that individual further and grows her own life and whatnot, right? And I don't want her having the major shock in her life that things don't just come easy, right? So um, just instilling that real world, real life stuff.
That's awesome. And yeah, when I wrote that question down, I didn't know how old she was, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, still that's great to hear like what your plans are with that, because I mean, I have not had children yet, but definitely like something I've thought about too is like, oh, what am I going to teach my future kids, and like what do I want them to know, and how do I, want them to be around other people, because I feel like you said, like kind of worrying that the life that they'll have obviously will be great because like I know I'm going to provide, but obviously the worry of like, oh, I don't want my kids to think that they're better than other people because maybe they get more things than others, and just kind of like thinking about things like that. So yeah, I like that you shared that, and those are great things to teach her, and she'll be amazing. I know she will. She'll be an amazing person, and will definitely have a lot of great values. So yes.
Absolutely.
Um, and just reading this next question. So my next question is, how do you hope to inspire the next generation, both in your family and within your broader audience, to pursue their own paths to success? Question mark.
Oh, that's a great one too. Oh, great question, Samantha.
Yeah.
um I think with that, it's just honestly to be that one who kind of goes first, shows them that you can. I want to show people that you can live the life truly that you want to live. You don't have to be bound by what society tells you to do, what everyone around you tells you to do and whatnot. Like you can truly go out there and make a life that you truly desire happen, and come into fruition, come into reality. by just taking action for yourself and for your own opinions, taking the moves for your own self rather than the moves that other people around you think they know you as, and think that that's the moves you should take. Actually taking the moves that are are going to get you to where you want to get to. And like with my social media, like that's all I put out there is value. It's value, 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 value. And I feel like a lot of people can just grow for absolutely free just watching my content. And I strive to just push as much free value out as I can, because I know just from taking that in, like I said, like you can honestly grow if you implement a lot of that knowledge that I do share on that. And ultimately it's just to show growth, and just growing on the daily kaizening, um, just constantly learning things that are new, and implementing, and growing on the daily. And from that, along with the compound effect, you're going to grow and grow and grow to the point where it's like you're at this point where you're like, how did I get here, even yourself? um, but just, yeah, through constant growth, like your life can truly change. You can truly just go, and like we have, like I said, the information like online. We can just go online and find whatever we need to find, and start taking actions on that. Like one can truly change their lives quickly, by just making a few shifts with their daily habits and the actions that they take and whatnot. And if you truly want to get somewhere, like we have the resources and tools out there. You just have to pick like one tool, one resource, and go all in with that, rather than, oh, we need to do this, and then you're overwhelmed because there's so much things, right? And don't get me wrong, like that's also cool to do. Until like I feel like my advice for like anyone that's super young, or even just throughout life, is figure out exactly what you want to do. Like go out and do like everything, figure out exactly what you want to do, but then hone down on that. Like, push the rest out, hone in on that one thing, and go all in. Pick one platform, go all in. Pick one system, go all in. Pick one strategy, go all in. Pick one, like I said, tool or resource, go all in, instead of having the noise of all this other stuff around you too. And that's when you truly, truly grow and whatnot. But of course, take the actions beforehand to figure out exactly what it is that you want to do, and then go in and figure out the way to monetize, figure out the way to live life off of that. Or if it's not monetizable and it's just like a hobby, and it is something to boost your morale, boost your energy, boost your confidence, try to do that as much as you can in your life, and then take that into the thing that's actually paying you, right, for your career or whatever venture, whatever choice you decide for the money. Take that positive energy from that side thing that you're doing that might not be bringing you energy, and put it into that, right? Because ultimately, like, I always go like, find something you're passionate on and do that for the rest of your life, right? And hopefully that is the thing that you're bringing in the bucks from. But not everyone, that not like the richest people in the world, like they're probably not passionate over, on what they do. They, just know what to do. Like I was watching a video recently. It's like, let's say somebody that runs a concrete business, right? They're not passionate on concrete, but they know concrete, makes the concrete business makes money. So that's what they do. Be passionate on making money, but it doesn't matter really what you do. It's just like be passionate on making money, whatever you're making money from. You're passionate because you're making the money, right? So like there's different ways to go in life, and that's the beauty of life. Like one can go that route, one can go the route where they are living life in full passion and whatnot. And I actually like that route more, is doing something that you actually are passionate on and making money from that, rather than working something you hate and making money but you're passionate because you're making a lot of money. It's like that, or like this, right? So you kind of have to decide what kind of life and route that you want to live, and just live it, but ultimately be in full alignment with yourself. Don't, strive in a different direction, because then when you start doing that, you're going off a beaten path. And so you want to be on that road that's going to take you, to ultimately like that internal happiness, right? So ultimately, like, keep doing the things that light you up, and grow on the daily.
That was a lot of great information. Um, and of course, I had some sub thoughts, but so kind of things that I was thinking during that was, like I said, I love what you shared. I think that's very helpful. And the biggest thing, like one of the biggest things for me with this podcast is like wanting to share tips with others, things like that, where I know there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions that they just haven't been able to answer. And so I definitely think what you just shared would definitely be one of them and is very helpful. And things I was thinking while you're saying that was with the resources thing, there's so much stuff out there. like um like if you're watching this and you just watch that, and I can list some stuff in the description as well for this. But some things that have helped me is like chat gpt. That's been super helpful. And like with what you said, like trying to figure out what you want to do and kind of creating a plan, that is super helpful for that. That's actually how I did that and how I started really figuring out what was important to me and my game plan, because that was just things that were like overwhelming to me. So utilize that. There is a free plan. You could also, if you wanted to do, they do have a plus plan or pro, whatever. I do the paid version because you can get more. You can search things more. Like you're only limited to like a certain amount a day with the free plan, but you guys can do whatever you want. I just wanted to share that. There's also things like notes apps. Like I use, it's called Noto, Noto, where you can organize things. So if you want to create your plan that way, like use ChatGPT, create your plan, and then plug it into a notes app. And like, because I'm OCD, so I like to see things laid out, and I like to be like very organized. That's how I am. So yeah, there's so many resources. There's so many websites for courses that you guys could check out, and a lot of these are affordable. So definitely something to look into. I appreciate you sharing that because that is very important to figure out what you're going to do, because I know it can be like, well, there's so many things. Like, what do I do? And then like I like to call like the shiny object syndrome, where you're just like overwhelmed by everything. So it's just like, don't rush it. Sit back, work on it. All that matters is that you're working on it, and work on yourself. And um, I think that's about all I wanted to share. I can't remember, but yes, I appreciate you sharing that, because yeah, that's something that like I like to talk about as well. Um, just kind of for beginners who are trying to figure it out.
Of course. And to add to that too, Samantha, like, work on yourself, like you said there. Um, but at the same point, like, find others that are working on themselves to join in, like, with the team, because at the same point, if you're doing things all alone, this is another kind of hurdle, actually, going back to that challenges and hurdles. As I did so much, I spent so many years doing things just alone. And I liked being alone. I loved it. I was like, I like my own space, I like being alone and whatnot. I like that time. But I didn't grow. Like, I grew my mindset, but I didn't like grow any further in anything else. And I'm like, damn, if I had a team then, oh, I'd be in a much, different place now, even. But it's taking me time to realize, like, damn, I need a team, because if you are working alone, you're working against teams. You need to realize that too. So make sure you go out and find those, just find people, start chatting, start actually like
Yes.
talking and whatnot. Find people that you can relate to. Find people that are in the same places you and are also growing, not people that are just staying stagnant and will, pull you down and stuff. You have to find, if you are growing in life, you need to find people that are also growing in life themselves, rather than just being a couch potato and doing nothing with their time. You want to find people that are growing, because you don't want to be around those people that, remain stagnant and hold you down to their level, because they'll start seeing you kind of go up a level and they're like, hey, where are you going? Come back, come back. They're pulling you
Mm.
back on a rope. And you don't want that. So you got to find those people that are also growing in life, and connect with those people and stay connected, and network with those people. Build your network of that. Build your network of people that are growing. Build your team along the way. And you never know what's going to come from connections and stuff too, right? There's going to be opportunities that pop up, doors that open for you that you wouldn't get going that other route, staying stagnant. You have to grow it and be around other people that are growing.
Yes, that is a great addition, and also in a way that is also like utilizing your resources, because people are resources, in relationships like that. You can learn a lot from that, and yeah, that was something that I learned too. Like that, I had that similar thought of like, oh, I like being alone, and like, but then, yeah, I went to an event last year, and one of the biggest things I said were like, don't feel like you have to be the lone wolf. Like, there are so many people out there that could save you the troubles of what you would endure if you were just to be by yourself. And there's so many people that have been in your shoes already that you could just learn so much from. So that was another exciting thing for me with this podcast, is like I get to connect with more people and like be one-on-one, because it's very different from just chatting in messages. It's like being able to be face to face and to learn from other people and grow, and hopefully share some stuff on my end. I mean, I still consider myself kind of a newbie, but I feel like I have learned quite a bit. So, but yes, there's so many resources for that as well, like Facebook groups on LinkedIn. There's so many different things, so many different forums. So if you guys are figuring out what you want to do and you want to connect with other people, look up your field on one of those apps, especially Facebook. Facebook has a lot of great groups, so definitely recommend that. All right, so was So my next question is, what role has content creation played in expanding your influence and building your brand?
Absolutely. So that's, it goes hand in hand, like building your brand, right? Like if you're not getting, let's say, your business out or your personal brand out to an audience, do you actually have a personal brand or a business? Right? You need to be posting that content and getting that content out to other people, especially like Instagram with reels and whatnot. Reels get pushed on, on their explore page a lot and whatnot. If you run ads, right? Like this, you can build organically, or you can build with ads and whatnot, or you can build both. I wouldn't recommend both. If you're doing ads, just stay to ads. If you're doing organic, stick to organic. But if you are not getting, the word out of your business or your personal brand or yourself even, then like you don't have that really, right? Like if you're building anything, you need an audience to see it. So post, 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 post. If you watch Gary V's content, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's he's that's what all he does. He's just like post, just keep posting, don't stop, keep posting. Something's gonna hit, keep posting, and like it's so true, because like in a micro type of feel to it, you're like, oh, it's so much, I'm spammy and whatnot. But over like if you post 3-4 videos a day, you might be like, oh, that's a lot, it's too much. But in a macro spectrum of things, all those days don't matter. What matters is that you took the action to get to where you got to. Like let's just keep them like let's do an example, right? Like pretend you're a millionaire, right? Those days that helped you get to the millionaire stage, like do those days really matter, the actions that you took? No, it matters that you took the actions in those days to get to where you are. So it's the same thing with content creation and whatnot. Just post, post, post. Like I only post like once a day. I want to post 3 times a day. I might just do it. I might say F it and do it, because I know that these days aren't going to really matter. What's going to matter is that end result and the where I absolutely want to get to is that's what's going to help me get there as well. So I might just start posting 3 videos a day, honestly, too. I gotta, I'm gonna say it, and then I'm actually gonna implement it and do it. So I'm gonna hold true to my word, and I'm gonna start doing that. Not sure when. I got a big move coming up, moving out, in October 1st coming up here and whatnot. So little cluttered and a little disorganized, but trying to get as organized as I can for that move and whatnot. So potentially afterwards, I'll start implementing that too.
Yes. And that's first off awesome. Like, that's great on the move. I hope that's exciting.
Yes.
And what are my other thoughts? So yes, another thing, like, that was similar to what I was talking about with my one of my first guests. I had Jordan Suber, and we were talking about like how much things have changed and how now like your personal brand is so important. So yes, like, work on that. And what are my other thoughts? Sorry, my brain's like yes, so that is very important. Work on uploading. And yeah, honestly, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No worries. You're all
So my next question is, how do you stay authentic and connect with your audience while maintaining a clear purpose of growth and prosperity?
Yeah. So like, yeah, when it comes to, of course, it's always when it comes to content creation. It's when it comes to conversations, when you're conversing in the DMs and stuff, when you're messaging people. Like for me, it's always just providing value, no matter what conversation, no matter it's every conversation I'm providing some type of value exchange to that other person. When it comes to my content, it's and content regardless for anybody, content can be different per everybody. Like for me, I honestly don't know what to do for my content, so I go live on like TikTok and I just ask people to ask me advice, and then I get lit up. That's a passion of mine, is to give advice and give value. So that's where I light up, and that ends up becoming my content because I'm able to TikTok records the live streams, so then I clip that content, and that just becomes my content. Um, otherwise I just kind of sit there until someone asks me something, and I'm like, okay, now we can go. That's just how I work, and that's honestly me. I can't just come up with things. It's weird, but when somebody asks me, it's like, okay, cool. And now it's game time. It's my time to go, and that's how I roll with it. Other people are gonna be different and whatnot, and it's just honestly with anything in life, it's trial and error, right? When it comes to anyone's content, it's start posting things, work on your content, get better and better and better at it, get better with your writing, better with what you're, posting in your content. And it'll just click one day, be like, I like this kind of content. Let's do more of this. And then that's your personal brand, right? Like it's, your personal brand isn't really built over a day, but ultimately it is you, right? You need to show you as a person, who you are, what you're about, what your interests are. So you want to kind of break things down into like connection posts, character posts, um, kind of like social proof posts, like you out and about with people and whatnot. And you just kind of do a mix of things. But as long as you are showing your passion, showing your interest, showing who you are, rather than just sitting back or having some other type of character pop up that's not you, like you will be found out eventually. If you're trying to be somebody else or faking it or whatnot, you will be found out eventually, and it's not a good story in that case. So just be authentically you, and it can be so hard in some points because a lot of people don't necessarily want to show their true selves online. They want to hide behind something because people start to do that, though, I believe, when they start comparing themselves to other people, and everyone's different. Like, don't go and compare yourself to somebody else, because ultimately you're putting that person ahead of you. Why would you ever want to put somebody else ahead of you? Don't. You are you, and you are you for a reason. You are unique. You are a beautiful person, and just post you. don't be afraid about it. Don't be afraid of anything coming back, because ultimately in the moment, just be authentically you, and keep posting that way, and then people will be attracted to who you are as a person and whatnot, and be like, because there's gonna be other people that are like, oh, I'm so scared, I don't want to post myself like that, but you've given me that kind of energy that I can do that myself. You've shown that you can do it, and now I want to do it. I want to post myself authentically because you're posting yourself authentically. And it comes down to like the build it, and they will come. You will gain an audience just by being authentic and whatnot. And so yeah, just authenticity regardless. Just build your personal brand, be a personal brand. Like, that's the thing, the word personal is in it, so be personal. Don't be afraid to share personal things as well. Like, why do we keep stuff personal? Just put that stuff out online. Like, your mess is your message. Your mess is your message. And that's what people are going to relate to the most, is the crap that you go through in life. That's what people relate to. That's what people want to hear. They want to hear what you've gone through, what you've done to kind of get over it, or what you're doing to get over it. And it's take them on a journey, take them on a storyline. That's, people want to follow a journey. People want to follow a story. So don't be afraid to post anything like personal. That's what a personal brand is all about. It's being personal.
That was beautiful. And I agree with that, with like just not being afraid to like be yourself and to share things. And like that's something that I've really worked on, and now it's like I I share, like, one of my biggest things that I enjoy doing is being very transparent and sharing everything, all the struggles, and kind of things that like I'm just doing to work on it. And like with starting this podcast, kind of sharing, my process going through it, and some hurdles I'm having, and just really just showing people, how it is, and that like I'm pushing through it, and that, like you said, it's very important because, and this is another thing I think I was saying when me and Jordan were talking about it, was like people want to connect with you as a person, not not the idea of you, or you know what I mean. And I know a lot of people, they get stuck in wanting to control every aspect of what they're putting out, and kind of having a certain image. But like you said, it's like that's not going to take you very far, because people want to know the real you, not the idea of you and what you want people to believe. So it's just, honestly, if you're wanting to create content but you are struggling, and you have some insecurities and some things that you need to work through, like try to work on that. Obviously I wouldn't say like, oh, wait until you think that you're at a good point, because like the best time to start is now. Like, but I think if you're not in a good headspace, it's not really beneficial for you to start, because then it might kind of um, mess with your growth. So I think just kind of trying to figure out a balance of like, okay, like how do I work on these things and acknowledge that like I need to work on them, and still being able to like push through and do things even though you're scared to do it. So, and then I think there was something else, but of course I forgot. Oh, so you were talking about like just keep posting, like at some point, like go ahead and talk about Gary Vee. I was gonna say is another thing is that I've noticed sometimes too that people will keep posting and stuff, and they'll have one video that will like skyrocket, and then their videos following that will kind of die down way more, and it
Yep.
can kind of be like just what's the word, like upsetting to people, you know what I mean, and kind of like, oh, but like you were saying, just keep posting. Even if it's like, oh, you have all these videos that don't do well, one skyrockets and then they all go down. Like you're gonna have another one that's gonna do that. And then the more and more you do that, the more and more your videos will have more views and will have more engagement. So like just learning that like you're gonna have lots of ups and downs. It's gonna look a lot like that, but like you need to just keep going and keep pushing through, because once you get to that point where like your just continuous growth, then you're gonna be like, wow, I'm so grateful that like I kept going. So that was my thoughts on that.
Yeah, like with that too, Samantha, good point there. Like, yeah, you can have a video that goes up and then the rest kind of go back down and whatnot. But if you want to keep growing as well, like with those videos that do end up doing better and growing, take that into factor as well. Try to do more videos that are kind of related to that one as well, because that was the one that hit. So try to do some more videos, like actually go into the analytics and see what's popping, see like the watch time and whatnot. I'm not sure if you can do that on Instagram really. For me, I just post. But the videos that do a little bit better, I'm going to try to post some more content relating to that. But ultimately, those videos that do skyrocket and whatnot here and there, always just engage back with those people, because they're going to be more likely to want to stay for the long run that way, instead of just watching it and disappearing. If they comment back, send them a direct message, be like, thank you so much for engaging on my content. I would love to connect further or something like that. Or thank you so much for, like, it's a pleasure to connect. How are you doing? Just build conversations. The more conversations you have, the better your brand will do, and the more results you're able to obtain. So ultimately, and then they'll keep coming back to those videos, right? And right when you post, if you have like a good chunk of people that come and view that video right away, it should ultimately bump up the views even more, because the more views you have right off the bat, it's like an algorithm thing with Instagram. Instagram will see that and start to bump up the videos more.
Yeah. Yeah. See, like, yeah, I was thinking that too. Like with those, it's like your content will perform better like after you've had that one where like skyrockets, but like it may that what I was thinking is like may not be as well, like perform as well. So then like that's why it's like it can be people can get very sucked into it and the numbers. It's like it's good to know, like you said, like know your numbers and know what content is engaging, but also not getting too consumed in it, because then it kind of takes the joy out of creating content. And like I do a similar thing with like my podcast is during the stream, I like to watch the viewer count and see what points are really engaging. And I notice a lot of it is where we share tips for beginners. A lot of people really want to know more about that. So, but that's something that I do. But I don't like to be obsessive in it and be like, oh well, oh these parts, like I mean, it's just kind of like you said, analyzing like, okay, this is things that people are interested in, and just kind of taking note of that. But also, you can take note and also have like parts where it's just for you. Like create content for other people that you know that people enjoy, but also create content that you're passionate about and that maybe not maybe won't do as well, but that you enjoy, because you need to have a balance.
Yes, of course, especially with that energy and stuff too, right? Like do things that light you up, right? So if that is a part of your content too, then do it. Like there is no wrong. Like good is always good enough, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And that's a great advice that I can give further there. And yeah, when it does come to the numbers again too, I was somebody too like that, where I was having a good old day when numbers were high, and then I was kind of down low when my numbers were low. But it's ultimately, I was just an emotional attachment kind of block that I needed to work on, and I've worked on that. I don't care about that stuff anymore. I'm emotionally detached from things, and I have to be as a business owner. And so that's something I had to work on. But ultimately, like for people that are kind of starting off, for beginners, like those numbers and stuff, it's not necessarily like a rejection of you as a person for you to have low numbers on one video and high
Yeah.
numbers on another, or like a video that explodes and then the next like 10 or 15, 20 you post are low video or low views. It's not a reflection of who you are as a person. It's literally just the platform. It's just
Mhm.
people not seeing your content. So if people are not seeing your content, you need to be having more conversations. You need to be connecting with more people. You need to be following more people, connecting with more people. And ultimately, like it's just a loop of that. It's just a loop of engaging with people, then coming back and engaging you. Because if you are running like a business or personal brand, you have to look at that like platform, not as just, you have to look at it as like a social proof, like a resume, pretty much like a storefront. And your followers, the audience, are coming in to view your storefront. You want to greet them, right? You want to greet them at the door. They go around, they shop around your content and whatnot, and then they eventually like buy from you. If you're, selling like a product or you have an offer and whatnot, you want to keep them in your store for as long as possible. So you want to be, adding as much value as possible, so people are scrolling on your videos and stuff, and that's where the views start to build. But it's not going to happen overnight necessarily. The one in a very wide range of people might just pop off, and it happens overnight. The rare occasion, but a lot of stuff is built over time. But as things grow, they start to grow faster and faster and faster. And when you're in the game for, a decent amount of time, you'll realize that growth does start to skyrocket and whatnot. So it's ultimately just a numbers game. It's a time game, most of the time. And it's just, don't stop, never quit, because if you quit, you just, you know, you're saying bye to the life that you truly want, you truly desire. So, like, why would you do that? Why would you say no to your own dreams? Why? Don't worry about that stuff. Just get it done. Take the action. You know.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, like you said, like it's not a reflection of who you are. And too, a lot of the times, like what you're saying is where you're like very attached to the numbers and stuff, it can be like almost like a form of like validation, and like kind of being like, oh well, you know what I mean. And that's not like you said, like you got to work through that, because it can just keep spiraling. And um and then again, like it doesn't become fun anymore, and like you truly just keep doing what you're passionate about. And obviously, like we were talking about, like keep in mind of certain things, because obviously if something's doing well, like you got like recreating it and like noticing that will obviously help with your engagement. But again, like I was saying too, is like don't make that your sole focus to just keep reproducing that and like worrying about the numbers and stuff. It's like, yes, that is a part, but also just make content that you love. And then at the end of the day, people will love you for you, and they'll tune in and they'll want to engage with you. So it's just about being consistent and just, yeah, all of those things. So
Absolutely. And it's not necessarily about the numbers right away. Like, you want it to be popping, but it might not be popping right off the bat. Like I said, it could take time. But here's the thing, right? Like, just post and keep posting, like I said. And eventually, when you do pop off, when you do grow that audience, and you do grow, that kind of, grow your personal brand to a point where people are asking you, like they're just asking for you to be posting more and whatnot, they'll go through and watch those other videos, and those videos will bump up those views. So it doesn't necessarily matter about the views in, like, the short term, like, time. It matters where it's going to be later on. If you're going to be able to repurpose that content, be like, hey, this is my opinion then, this is actually my opinion now after some more time doing this and just life and whatnot, this is my opinion now and whatnot, right? So it's showing like a journey, and that's more just, showing yourself and building that authenticity even further along the way with that. And I also had something in mind there that slipped my mind, I think, too. But yeah.
I love that. I know we're kind of past the hour mark, which I could I'm the type of person I could keep talking forever. But I wanted to ask you, is there anything else that you would like to share today?
Ooh, uh, I think we covered it like quite a bit. It's ultimately like, for me, it's just, you know, if there's anything like generic kind of, or any sort of like advice or whatever that I get from people. But yeah, anything else, it's usually just like, if you have, if anyone in here has any further questions for me, like, don't hesitate to reach out. My messages are always open. I will respond in a timely fashion, and whatnot. So yeah, any further questions anyone has for me, definitely just, reach out, give me a holla.
I love that. And I'll have all of his links linked in this as well, and everything like mine, everything. So you'll have all of that information in this episode. I can't speak. For those who may be wanting to find you, just if they're listening to this, could you kind of share us where they could find you?
Yeah, of course. So I am on Facebook personally, just my name. You can add me up if you want to. Not a lot of people don't use Facebook nowadays. Instagram, my username is on chillpreneur. It's like a chill entrepreneur. So just ENCHILLPRENEUR. Same thing on X/Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I don't like the name X that they did. Well, whatever. Elon, he'll do Elon will do Elon. And then I'm also on TikTok, and that's kind of like branded as well. It's Hayden D, so HAYDEND, and then TOKS for talks, kind of branded it like that because it's like detox. You watch my content and you get a detox. I don't know. It's just a cool brand name there. So you can find me on TikTok there. And I think that's about all the platforms that I am actively on right now.
Awesome. And then for the podcast, I mentioned it in the beginning. I have like this little banner, but I need to fix it. But yeah, so you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Podbean, Buzzsprout, and then now I have to update this, but I'm on Amazon Music, Deezer, and iHeartRadio. And then for my links, I usually just link my link tree because it has everything together. But for Facebook, you can just look up my name and hopefully be able to find me. I know there's a lot of Samantha Baileys, but if you're watching this, I'm sure you've already found my page. And then for Instagram and I think TikTok, it's Sam B Daily Motivation. And then I'm on LinkedIn as well. And I think that's about it. You can pretty much find me on anything, just looking up my name, and I will have that linked in this as well. So I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing a lot of great advice for other people and for getting us all a chance to get to know you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on, Samantha. It's been an absolute pleasure. And definitely got to, get something going in the future, venture wise or whatnot. Or, of course, just always reach out. I'm always here. So, yeah.
Yes, of course. Well, we want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. And yes, if you guys want to reach out to us, we will have that all leaked. So we hope you have an amazing rest of your night. And I will see you guys on Friday with Jeannie Saunders. I think I'm saying that correctly, but yes. So have a good night, everyone.